My last question, and then we'll proceed to the audience questions. What does your senatorial win mean for Connecticut? What priority issues will you seek to address?
Finally, you have a grassroots candidate that's actually going to be answering the call as we the people, from the Tea Party and the Patriot movements. It's a historic time in our lifetimes where we the people are actually going to affect a change in Washington. And as I believe as a group of rookie senators and representatives in Congress, I think we will start to rescue a nation that has gone into the abyss and has lost its way. I kind of take it to like, a lot of people hold up the Constitution and use it as a prop, but let's say this is our roadmap. And if you don't follow this roadmap as a people, you'll get lost. Anytime you have a map and you don't follow it, the odds are you're going to get lost. And we have not been following this as people from Connecticut and in general around the country. But one thing you always have to orient yourself, even with the best map in the world, is a compass. And our moral compass, as I said, has been challenged, corrupted, and changed over 30 years. Without the two of them, no matter what any of us try to do in Washington, we as a people will not succeed. So obviously, my job in Washington is to represent the people of Connecticut, but to do it knowing that God and country come first, and that every decision we make affects each and every one of us. So that's a weight on our shoulders, and it's going to be really easy, because I make those decisions as a father every day, I made those decisions as a firefighter, and I made those decisions running a business. So of course we have to lower taxes, we have to cut spending. These are all the things financially that we have to make sure we do. But I truly believe with all my heart that if we only focus on finance, we fall into the trap of this administration and this country over the last 30 years that have allowed us to erode our moral compass.
It's a tough choice, but I have to ask this because you mentioned, both of you have mentioned about safety, but I haven't heard one word from either one of you about liberty, to be free. I have always been a fan of Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, to me, still has a great legacy. Ronald Reagan said, believed totally, that there were two great threats when he was president. One was the Soviet Union, and the other was a soft, secret police in the United States. This is actually out of his mouth. Namely, a vast, unaccountable government bureaucracy, accountable to no one, that can dictate policy that Americans have to abide by. My God, Wilbur and Orville Wright, would they have a tough time today with the regulations inventing an airplane? Hewlett-Packard founded their company in a garage. Would they have a tough time founding that fantastic company today in a garage? What I'm saying is, the Soviet Union has gone to a great extent, notwithstanding Putin. That's another story entirely. But this other thing about what Europe has done, and now even people in Europe are turning away from this. This idea of this huge, vast bureaucracy, whether it's from the federal government or any government, dictating policy to us that's unaccountable to no one, Ronald Reagan was very, very concerned about. And I just want to get a comment from each of you what you think about that.
This was a question about liberty and freedom, right?
Yeah.
All right, I just want to make sure.
As a soft police.
All right.
A vast, unaccountable.
Well, those are the regulators, yeah.
Yeah, no. Look, I mean, first, Ronald Reagan, I have a soft spot for him. He's my favorite president in my lifetime. I revere him and his dream of the vision of America as the shining city on the hill. I still think we are. I think, again, we're being convinced intentionally that we're not for some reason. You have soldiers, like my son and you guys who defended liberty around the world and freedom of who we are as Americans. The problem is nowadays, what are they defending in many cases? You got to really question what this administration and where it's taking us. It's going to be up to us to stop the madness of what's going on. And actually, always realizing that we're accountable to a much higher authority than our government. The government wants you to think that they're the ultimate authority. This is socialism right now, that the government is responsible for everything. I tell you that they are not. That God is being removed from our lives intentionally because the government can't control Him. And I, for one, am not willing to trade God for condoms in my schools for my kids. So I do believe in God and country, and President Lincoln actually said it very well when he paraphrased, I'll paraphrase what he said, that he believed America could never be invaded by a foreign power, but it will be invaded, if ever, from within. And I do believe that we are on the doorstep of allowing this to happen. And take all the things we spoke about tonight, including illegal immigration, allowing people to wander across our border, allowing terrorists to use our own rules against us, allowing illegal immigrants to protest in the streets about our laws, American laws. Let me tell you, when the Mexican people come here illegally, we give them, you name it, what kind of rights and all kinds of protections. Do you know what would happen if an American went into Mexico more than 15 miles and tried to open their mouth? They'd be in a jail in a second. So again, we're in the twilight zone here. Liberty and freedom has to be the most important thing in our life, our dreams, that we defend with our lives. Otherwise, what are we all about as a people? What are we standing up for? Again, this is much more than dollars and cents. This is everything we are as America. It goes to the heart of everything. And do not allow that to be taken from us. Hold on to that with the last breath of your life, guys.
I was really bummed out that Mr. McMahon and Mr. Simmons were not going to be able to be here tonight. I really wanted to get a chance to compare apples to apples. But it makes this question very easy for me. What would each one of you be able to do at this point to take Linda McMahon out?
All right, so look, I'm not going to use weapons of mass destruction in this race, that I promise you, just like this administration. The one thing you got to remember, I'm not running for anything here, guys. I'm answering a call to serve you guys. And as a citizen patriot, I was born in this Tea Party. My first speeches were in Morristown, New Jersey, where I took the stage with a very little-known politician called Chris Christie, who eventually became governor of New Jersey. And that was with some of our help, I must say. And then I spoke in Washington in front of nearly 2 million people. And I took the stage with Monica because I was so scared I almost couldn't walk, to stand in front of that crowd of people. And to see the crowd and the patriots, everyone, you are the Tea Party. You are patriots. And it's not a matter of beating anyone. It's a matter of answering a call in a way that first people trust who you are. That when my dad shook my hand and people's hand in business, they trusted him. That's what's missing in our day and age today. And it's honestly not businessmen that I trust more than anyone in my life, I'll tell you that. So it's like, she may be a really good person and we get along really well, but I don't look at her as my opponent. And again, her money may be her negative, because I don't know if you guys saw in the newspaper when they highlighted all the mansions, they flew over all the McMansions of all the candidates. They couldn't find mine because I don't have one. I'm not a millionaire, guys. I worked, I retired after 9/11, I dedicated my life to charity, and I believe that Mr. Smith really will go to Washington this time. The movie will fulfill in our lives because America needs it. And we need leadership. We don't need people to be standing there on the sidelines. You need maniacs like me that run into fires. Because Washington's burning, I tell you that right now. And it's going to take a firefighter and someone with courage and someone with business background and a moral compass that really knows that we, the people, actually can take our country back. And I'll represent Connecticut with all my heart to do so for you.
Thank you.